and welcome to my 31st video. Thank you so much for joining me if you are a return subscriber, or hello if you are new. My name's Adrina. I'm an Australian teacher, a Teachers Pay Teachers seller, and a mum, so things get a little bit crazy around here. In today's video, I am just doing something a little bit more simple in the way of clip art, but basically because it is coming up to Valentine's Day is literally just around the corner, I thought it'd be nice to do a little clip art tutorial and show you how I've made some of these Valentine's inspired clip art images on PowerPoint. So I'll show you them here. You're able to see there's 8 of them. Here's the first one, the second one, the third one, the fourth one, the fifth one, the sixth one, the seventh one, the 8th one, and that's it. So if you liked any of those clip art images and you want to know how to make any of those, then this is the tutorial for you, because I'm going to show you exactly how to do it. And let me tell you, it is super easy. Like, some of them you can make literally under a minute or under 2 minutes. So it's super easy, super simple, and I'm here to show you basically how to create these pieces of clip art for Valentine's Day. So if that is something that you like, then keep on watching. Let's go. Okay guys, so we're going to start off with the first piece of clip art, which is this triple layered heart. Now I promise you this is super easy, like extremely easy. It will take you under 2 minutes to create, maybe even quicker than that. So basically I just want to quickly preface this by saying that in this particular PowerPoint presentation, I like to start off with an 8.5 times 11 piece of paper basically, and that's what we've got as our canvas basically today. So I'm just going to go into this brand new one, and really what we're going to be working in, if you've never used PowerPoint before, I'm sure some of you watching already have a basic idea of PowerPoint, but basically we're just going to be using the shapes to create all of these PowerPoint things that I have shown you today. So as you know that when you use PowerPoint, you have all these different types of shapes. So the one that we are going to be using obviously for the heart is the heart shape. Now it'll show up if you use the heart in like recently used shapes, as you can see here, but it usually shows up in the basic shapes. So if you've never used it before, it shows up here and it's just called heart. So let's click on that. Now you're wanting to make it quite a big heart. Sometimes obviously a little bit over the page. If you've watched any of my other PowerPoint tutorials, you'll know that I like to make the clip art as big as you sort of can. It doesn't matter if you go over the page. This is just the space that you're working in. The bigger it is, the better for if you are going to actually use it in your product in some way, only because you can scale it up more. If I was to make a heart that was like so tiny, or regardless whatever clip art it is, if I was to make it so tiny, you'll notice the difference in the pixelation, and I will actually show you the difference in this particular example so you can kind of get an idea of what I'm trying to talk about here. But let's just start off here now as a big heart, and we're going to change the color. And so I'm going to change it to this pink one that I have picked out prior, and I'm going to actually take away the outline like you just saw that I did. Now to make it look like, as you can see in this particular example, you can see it has this kind of like 3D effect, and you guys, I'm really starting to like this 3D look. I played around with it, and I've actually used this sort of 3D look in one of my products before, and I'll show you that later on. But yeah, I sort of just like this look of the 3D effect, I guess. So to get that, so as you can see on this one here, it's very flat. It's just 2D. It's not really got that shine to make it look realistic or 3D like. So all I'm going to do here is I go to shape format, and I'm going to make sure that's still selected, go to shape effects, and then all the way down at bevel, you'll see it says no bevel, but the one I've been really loving at the moment is this one here. It's called the circle. So it's under bevel, but it's circle. And if you press that, you can just see how it's already changed the edge. So now I want to have a triple layered heart. Oh, actually I think it's quadruple. I think there's 4. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, there's 4. It's not even triple layered. Silly me. Anyway, sorry about that. Got 4 layers to it. So let's just Control D is a quick shortcut to just replicate that particular image. And I'm just going to align it, and I'm going to just change the color again to make it an off kind of pink, and take away the outline. I'm pretty sure that outline was already taken off. Again, just duplicate it again, make it smaller, and align it where you can. You'll see this little line, that red line that just came up a moment ago, to show you if it's in line. That always is helpful to use. I'm going to choose another color, and obviously just kind of move it to however you like it to look, but just make sure if you can to keep that center in the middle. And one more layer, so I'm going to make this last one white and align it up. That one didn't come up really with a good line then. There we go. And I want to extend it out a little bit because it's a little bit too narrow. And there we go. So you can obviously change it. This one does look a little bit different. As you can see, the one up here is a little bit thicker at the top. So if you wanted to make it thicker at the top, you just have to sort of like extend it out. But basically just move it around to however you're happy with it and however you like it sort of to look. So I think I'll go something like that. All right, so happy enough with that. You can get the basic idea, but you've got your 4 layered heart. Now to obviously turn it into a piece of clip art, you're just going to have to select it all, press Control and right click if you're on a Mac, or I guess it would just be a right click if you're on a PC. Now we're going to group all of these. Grouping allows it to be obviously grouped, and so then you're not just moving one piece at a time, it moves the whole lot. And then what we need to do to turn it into clip art is same thing, Control right click on a Mac, and then we're going to press save as picture, and then we're just going to save it to somewhere. So I might even just save it here as layered heart, and making sure that it's at PNG. You'll see there's other options that you can choose to make it in, but PNG is what you want. And then just press save, and then you've got your clip art heart that you can use in something that you create. So I will show you very quickly while we're on the topic of this heart though. If I was to make something, like I was saying with, this is the reason why I make these so big. I just want to show you this really quickly. So if I was to make a heart, like a layered heart, and it was like this size, for example, so I'm going to do that really quickly. I'm going to do it a little bit different to what I did the first one in colors, just to kind of give you an example. Let's just do a double layered heart. They look proper cute being so little though. But yeah, so let's make it that small, and let's turn this into a piece of clip art. So we've grouped it. Let's do right click, save as picture like we did with the first one, and just save it as layered heart small. Save. Now I'm going to show you on this piece of paper, if I go insert, pictures, picture from file, I'm going to choose both of my layered hearts. So you can see that's a little one, and you can see that one's the big one. So let's insert both of those. So to do that, I can just press shift, click both, and then press insert. So that will probably, the little one will be behind it. So you can see when I scale this one up, you don't see too much fuzziness in the actual clarity of this clip art image, and especially even when I scale it down too, it's kind of retaining that nice look. But if I was to do this with the small one, you'll see the bigger I go, can you see that pixelation? We didn't get that with this particular heart because we made it big to begin with. But because we made this one quite small to begin with, it's going to have that really unclear pixelated edge. This is something that I learned really basically over trial and error while creating clip art with PowerPoint. It doesn't really matter too much if you go smaller, but basically if you make something small to begin with and then you try to scale it up, you will notice a definite decrease in the clarity of the line. So that's why when I'm saying if you're going to make clip art on PowerPoint, that you need to make sure that you start off big like we have here. So then when it does come to resizing, you can see here, you don't have that fuzziness in the actual line of the clip art. And that's, again, something that I learned. So let's just delete those and let's move on to the next particular clip art piece, which is going to be the jar. All right, so to make the glass jar, I'm going to go insert, shapes, and I'm going to go down to the rectangles, and we're going to be using the rounded rectangle again. Just make a rectangle there, fill it in with whatever color you'd like. Obviously it's Valentine's Day colors. I'm just using this hot kind of pink. And I'm going to just take away the outline, and then I'm going to go into shape effects and go into bevel, and then use the circle bevel like I did with the heart, and you'll see that's going to be good for the lid. Now for the actual glass part of it, I'm going to go insert, I'm going to go shapes, and then we're going to actually be using this one here in the rectangle section, the round same-sided corner of rectangle. We're going to just draw that on screen. Now you can have it this way, but what I do like to do is like turn it around. So if I just go to rotate and flip vertical, and that will just rotate it really quickly for me. And I just need to stretch it out a little bit more just so it matches the lid. And then you can see the lid is behind the glass. So I'm going to actually send that to back by clicking on Control and right click and then pressing send to back. So you'll be able to see that I've probably gone a bit too far with the glass. I want to make it a little bit, I'm going to bring it in a bit more, just so that this rounded edge is kind of over it a bit more. And then what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go to shape format, and I'm going to actually change the outline to like a gray. And I'm going to make the width of it, or the weight of it at 6 points. And then I'm going to turn the fill into white. So you'll see that you have this glass jar looking thing, but you can see it's slightly different to this one here. So the reason why is because we haven't put the bevel on it yet. So let's just click on that. We'll go into shape effects, we'll go to bevel, and we'll click on the circular bevel, and you'll see, there we go, we've kind of got that 3D looking effect. Now obviously super simple, super easy. Just for the hearts, you just go back down to the basic shapes, click on heart, and you can arrange this however you like. You can just choose whatever colors you like. Make sure you take the outline off, go into shape effects as per usual, go into bevel, and just do that. So I'm just going to rearrange this. This will be a bit different to the first one I made, and you can do this any way you like. And you know what, you could even use this kind of thing as like a counting activity in one of your worksheets. And yeah, you could be like, how many hearts are in the glass jar, like count how many or whatever. So that's if you're wanting to use something like clip art with colored images. But yeah, you could still do something similar to this using just an outline as well. And if you wanted to do like a black and white version, you could. But this is just like the 3D look effect in the kind of clip art that I really kind of like and enjoy. So I thought I'd just show you how to do that. So yeah, I've got 5 little hearts in here, and of course change the colors up if you like, change it to whatever you want. And so yeah, that's the glass jar. Make sure if you want to turn it into clip art, just select it all, click and then right click and press group, same as always, and then click it again and press save as picture, and then you can just rename it glass jar with hearts, and save. Alrighty, so to make this little owl, we're going to go insert, shapes. We are going to be using the same old trusty rounded rectangle, but we're going to alter it a bit. So you can see here it looks like more of a rectangle. Now we want it to make it look a bit more circular, so we're going to go into this yellow part here, and we're going to just drag it, and we are going to basically just move it to however we want it to be. You can make his head pretty big, whatever sizes you want to do. It's just kind of whatever you think is going to be the best for your owl. What we might do is we'll change the color of this first. So in this case, let's make a different colored owl. We'll do the same thing as we did with the heart in the jar, same thing, shape, take the outline color off, and then we go into bevel, and we're going to give it that 3D look to it. Now we're going to go to insert, we're going to go to shapes, we are going to then again use the same rounded rectangle again, and we are just going to pop it under, just into rectangles, and at the very end here you've got a rectangle called the round diagonal corner of rectangle. We're going to use this guy. Now we're just going to stretch it out onto the page and you'll get something looking like that. We're going to change the color, and we're going to take the outline again, and what we're going to do is change the bevel of it as well as we did with all the other ones, and we're going to kind of move it around. You can see you can kind of change this using the yellow marker there, so you can see how that's kind of changed. Then we're just basically going to make it smaller and to line it up sort of almost to, so we might have to make this little body a little bit bigger just so it's going to line up a bit nicer. So if I do that and then I send him to back, let's see what that looks like. Yeah, so you can make it a little bit bigger, you can push it out, and you can just have a little play around with this. You could even make the body smaller if you wanted to see a bit more of the wing. So totally up to you. You just got to have a feel around with what you want to do. I'm going to leave it like that for now. Then to have the other wing, super easy, just go Command D if you're on a Mac, and then you can either just rotate it and flip it horizontally, and you can see it's kind of just going to do that for you. And then you can just alter it a little bit more and then send it to the back again like we did the first time. So you've got the wing on this side, and just adjust it to best of your ability. I mean, if you are really pedantic, you can just click both of them and then go align, and let's say it's a line to bottom, and so that the exact space. You won't see much of a movement there, but if you are that pedantic, you can do that. What we're going to do is actually shift this little guy down because he's taking up a bit too much of the front space. We want to have a little bit more space up here to work. So I've just selected all of those and moved it down. Now we're going to go into insert again. We're going to go to shapes. We want to give this owl some ears. Now it's going to be kind of strange, but we're going to go to basic shapes. We are going to be going into moon, and then we're going to actually draw just like a little moon. And we're going to alter it a little bit with this yellow part just so it's not so pointy. And we're going to then change the color back to the same color that we used for the body, take the outline off, and we're going to change the bevel to the circle bevel, and you'll see this is what it looks like. We don't want it to look like that on top of it, so we need to make sure that we send this little guy to the back. So control right click, send to back, and you'll see that's his little, you can alter this too however you want. You can make it smaller, bigger, you know, at different angles. You do what you want to do to make it look right for you. Then just duplicate that again by Control or Command D, and then just let's change it around. So rotate, and we're going to flip it vertically, or not vertically, rotate and then flip horizontally, and you can see that's there. And then we'll just send him to the back, center back. Alrighty, so that's that. Now we're going to add the eyes. So insert, we can kind of have a pretty good idea what the eyes are going to be made out of, and it's going to be out of the basic shape circle. And so we're going to use the circle. So just draw two big circles, color them in white, take away the outline, shape effects, bevel, and we're going to go to the circle bevel, and we're just going to basically play around with this to see what kind of eyes we're going to like with this owl. So I've got this owl with two big eyes. So this is the whites of the eyes, and make sure that it's white. We're just going to duplicate again, Command D if you're on a Mac, and I'm just going to change that to black, and I'm just going to make it a little bit smaller. You can do whatever you want with these eyes. You can make them like any size you want, any color you want, but yeah, in this case I'm just going to kind of have this little owl kind of closer to the center, just sort of like that. We can always adjust it if we need to, but I'm going to do another Command D, make it a small circle now to give it the eye highlight. Make sure that there's no outline, and I'm just going to move that to wherever I think is going to be right. So you could have it over here, you could have it here, you could have it wherever you like, but I kind of like it on this kind of right hand side, and I sort of just like having it kind of like that. And then to add the mouth, the beak I should say, I could just go into insert, go into shapes, and then we are going to be looking for, in the basic shape, a diamond, I think it's called. Yes, so the diamond. Now with the diamond, you want to just stretch it out, and again, it's all about trial and error to kind of see if you like it smaller, if you like it bigger, whatever you like. You just trial and error to what you think looks good. Change it to a different color. In this case, we'll go this light orange, no outline. We'll go into bevel, and that changes that look completely. Now, I didn't, if you can see on this particular owl, I didn't actually bevel these like feather ruffle type of things. I don't even know what to call them, but just to add detail to make it look more of like an owl. But you can do so many different things with this owl, right? So we'll be adding these moon shapes to the owl just to kind of look like feathers, and you can definitely stretch them out and just make them not look as pointy, make them look a little smaller like that. I didn't bother beveling these ones just because I didn't think they needed to be, just based off this particular image. You can see here, if I do bevel them, this is what they look like, and I didn't, you can do, you know, like they don't look too bad, but I just preferred them without the bevel on this particular one. And just obviously align them to how you want them. You can spread them out, you can make them smaller, you can make them bigger, do whatever you like to make your little owl. And it's actually the easiest way, instead of recreating all of them, is literally just doing holding down shift, highlighting them all, pressing command D, and just doing that again. So then it's like you can just duplicate and speed up that process. Now I think 4 is too much, so I think I'll delete that line, and I'm going to spread these out a little bit more. So I'll just select them, bring them down, select these, select these middle part, bring them down. That's much better. Lovely. So you can do that. Something like that looks pretty cool. I will also say, if you want to add a bit more kind of like detail to your, this is like an extra bonus tip. If you want to add a bit more detail to that, you could easily go into pattern fill as well, and you could probably even change it to like a pattern to kind of give it that kind of pattern look as well. So that's just another little tip for you if you wanted to add that little extra detail. In this case, I don't, I just like the solid colors. But same thing, you just want to highlight this little guy, control right click, and you want to group the whole thing together so that it moves as one piece, and then you want to save it as a piece of clip art by control right click, save as picture. So we're going to make this coupon thing, and as you can probably get by now how I'm going to do this, it's pretty simple and easy. So I'm not going to do it on a diagonal. The only reason it's on a diagonal is for when I showed you in the beginning, but we're going to go into rectangles. We're going to go to rounded rectangle, just make a long rounded rectangle like that. We'll change it to that pink color, take away the outline, shape effects, a bevel, we want that. And then we want to duplicate it and just change it to white. We're going to, and this can also be used as like, you know, something that you use to write titles in or something like that as well, or even write whatever message you want as a Valentine's Day message or any kind of other message, you know. So you just want to add your text, insert shapes, and then you want to just go into this, the in basic shapes, the one that has like a little A on it. You could write coupon, just like I have, or you could write Happy Valentine's Day, you could write Be Mine, you could write whatever you like. Anyway, so just make it big, whatever text that you like to use. Do it to a nice size so it's nice and clear. And then just literally insert shapes, find the heart in basic shapes, and then just bevel the heart, and you are good to go. You can choose whatever heart you like. We'll use that nice kind of hot pink type of vibe. We'll go to, shape effects, bevel. There we go. And I will say, like, you can choose a different type of bevel. This is just my favorite bevel, the circular one, but you can change it to something like that, which looks pretty cute as well. But yeah, all of these you get the opportunity to have a little play with and see what is the best one for you. This is what I love about this, and this is something like I've just found out sort of recently. I've never really played with bevel before, but now I have. I'm like, oh, this is super cool. So that's that. All right, so for the flower, we just want to go insert shapes. Again, you can probably see how easy this is going to be. We're just going to use literally a circle and just make it into more of an oval. And we're just going to choose, I might do a pink one for this, just take away the outline. It's really the same process over and over again, and you just gotta get creative with it basically. Alright, so you can see that I'm just going to move the petals around to however I feel is going to look the best. Doesn't have to be perfect, it is just so that we've got like a flower type of shape, and then we're just going to insert, we're going to circle in the basic shapes, where I use basic shape circle, pop him there, and we might choose a yellow. Oh, that's a bit too yellow for my liking. Let's just choose the same yellow we used here. And we're going to outline, shape effects, we're going to bevel it. Lovely. And might just move him down a little bit more, stretch him out, same with that. And you can see we've just made an opposite flower. You know how to do it by now. Oh, I've just duplicated that again. All right, so group it all, turn it into clip art, save as picture, same old thing. Once you get the hang of it, guys, you'll be an expert. I'm sure if you're watching this, if you've made it to this far already, good on you. But yeah, like there's so many things that you can make, and it's super easy. You just have to have the imagination to like think, oh, how can I make these with shapes? So this one's like the speech bubble. Literally just go into insert, go into shapes, all the way down, and you'll find the call outs here, and it's under this one, which is called the rounded rectangular call out. And you just want to put him on screen, and then with this yellow part just drag him, and then change the color, whatever color you want, change the shape, outline, same thing, go into bevel, circular bevel. We're going to go into insert shapes. I'm going to use the rounded rectangle. I guess you could say the rounded rectangle is definitely like a strong go-to at this point. Change it to white, no outline, shape effects, bevel it, perfect. You've got your own little speech bubble there, or call out if you like to call it that. You can write in whatever message you have for Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day. You can do whatever you want with this, really, guys. We've got two more things to make. So we've got this one is super easy, and if you've made that flower before, this is going to be even more simple and easy. So let's go into shapes. We're going to be using a different shape we haven't used before, but it's in basic shape still, and it's called, well, it looks like this, and it's called the frame. Literally just looks like a frame, and this one's perfect because it's so simple, but it's pretty versatile. You could do whatever you could do lots of different things with this frame. You could put pictures in it for your students for Valentine's, and create a frame and then like cut out a picture, put in behind it. So that'd be kind of cool. But we're just going to add in some of the things that we made. So say the flower that we just made. In this case, I'm going to have to change this frame just so it doesn't look as the same in colour. And I'm not really sure if I'm happy with that colour yet, so I'll just change it to probably this one. That's better. Okay, it's more Valentine's-y, or is that more Mother's Day? Whatever the case, you can choose whatever colour you like. This is really just for the purpose of the video. And so let's add some hearts to it. There you go. You've got your little frame. If you didn't want to go too girly or I shouldn't say girly, it's not necessarily stereotyped like that, but like, if you didn't want to go as pink or as florally, or more, if you wanted to add more of a Valentine's Day sort of look, you could probably just take away the flowers, because that does remind me a bit more like Mother's Day. And you could just have like the hearts, and then you could easily have, like your student's little picture in there for Valentine's Day or something like that, whatever you wanted to do with that. But yeah, you can really alter it however you want to in that case, and it's just a nice, very simplistic frame that you can use. And I've just changed it back to that same colour that began with. But yeah, like literally just change it up to however you like it. You could do a yellow frame, whatever you find works for you. All right, lastly, we've got the envelope. It's really simplistic. If you just follow this, it's going to be super easy for you to do, and anyone can do it. So we're going to take the outline away, change the bevel. So we've got this kind of outline now. We are going to go insert, we're going to go shapes. And if I didn't say before, that was obviously like a rectangle. And now we're going to use the triangle in basic shapes. We're going to turn it around, and we're going to align it up. So this is just the part where you just have to make sure you align it to however you want it. Press white, no outline. We want shape effects again. We want to bevel it. And sometimes when you can see that's not as dark on that side, you can actually probably do add an outline to it, so it gives it a bit more clarity with that. And you can obviously make that outline a bit thicker if you needed to as well. So you can see like it's made it thicker that way. If you wanted to do it that way, you just have to make sure that this aligns with it too. So if I was to do this to one thing, I'd have to do it to the other thing sort of as well. So if that's the case, I would put that there and make that also 6, so then it kind of matches it. Now we're going to go insert. We're going to just add the heart again from Basic Shapes, and again make this heart however you like it. It's big or small, whatever you like. And if you want to make it more like Valentine's-y, take away the outline. You can add it that nice deep blood red almost, bevel it, and voila. What you'll find with PowerPoint, like the more that you use things or do things on it, the more you kind of will get to be more creative with it. And as you can see, when you go to shape format and you go into shape effects, this is really where all the beauty lies for all the different types of effects and things you can actually do with things. So not to go too deep into things, but you can see like even in this, not even in the bevel section, but in the 3D rotation, you can have things that make it look and change things around. As you can see, like go into 3D rotation again, like you can have it like so many different angles. Not that you need it for this particular thing, but just as an example, you can do so many different things with the shapes in this particular PowerPoint programs. Okay, so now we're going to have a look at all the clip art that we've just made in that time. And you can see here, I've got them all here. So I've got my 8 items that we just made, and all Valentine's related. You can kind of move them around. Oh, we don't need that. And you can just kind of like do whatever you want with these now. Making sure that if you are going to use these in a commercial way, you do need to make sure that the PowerPoint version you have is actually a commercial use PowerPoint version. So that is something to consider as well. But if you're just using it for yourself or in your classroom or whatever, like totally fine to just use that without any kind of extra subscription or anything like that. So that is the Valentine's Day, and you can even see on the side here, look at these cute little ways that they arrange things here. They kind of give you some ideas of how you can arrange things, and that's a really cool thing that PowerPoint does as well. So yeah, that is that, you guys. Okay, so if you made it to the end, you are amazing. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you learned something new. Now, if you are somebody that likes Teachers Pay Teachers content, PowerPoint tutorials on how to make clip art, or Procreate tutorials on how to make clip art, then feel free to subscribe, because that is my little corner of YouTube at the moment, and that's kind of my niche that I'm in. So if they are something of interest to you, then feel free. I'd love to have you part of the team here on YouTube. And yeah, I just want to say thank you so much, because recently I hit 500 subscribers, and that is amazing. So just a quick update on that. So when you get 500 subscribers, then you are able, as of 2022, you are able to access what's called the community tab. So the community tab is basically, you'll see sometimes on YouTube, like the feed, where you get to see posts from certain people that if they ask you questions, and you kind of get to engage and communicate with them that way. So in a week's time, from when I got 500 subs, I'll be able to access the community tab. If you want to engage with me on the community tab, then that would be amazing. So yes, we are slowly growing here, and I do appreciate every single one of you, and especially every single one of you that are coming back, not just subscribing, but also coming back to watch the videos. That really truly means a lot to me. So thank you very much, and I hope you have an amazing day. Thank you so much, and see you in my next video. Adios.